Hey, Storm Watchers. So I just got back from finished looking at Genwalk, and man, I got I got a video made for y'all today, man. Or pretty much, technically, this day is ending, so tomorrow or in these last minutes or whatever. But yeah, you know what I mean. But no, seriously. Um, okay, it takes no rocket scientist to know that this is one of Rooster Teeth's most anticipated shows for a long time that they had in development, and especially it caused a lot of things. It caused a lot of attention when they revealed that Michael B. Jordan was going to be in this episode. Now, this how this video is going to work. I'm pretty much going to be quickly doing a analytical summary of both of these episodes in this one video and whatnot. Just tell you and pretty much set up a discussion later of what's going on, or what to expect, or how the production is, or whatever. Pretty much I come up after I'm finished discussing it and whatnot, because I pretty much do most of these fucking videos by scratch. Y'all should know that by now. How fucking absent-minded I be sometimes making these. All right. When they first opened up with the first episode, uh, it had this really kind of this little choppy tone going on. Like when it first opens up, we see the pretty much the main character of the show, played by Michael B. Jordan himself, uh, pretty much inviting his main squeeze, who some reason looks a lot like Vanessa from KOF, to his mom's house, and his mom's just like really caring, and she obviously wants grandkids. So yeah, that's pretty much just get that out the way, and then Julian is called to go fight the main antagonist of the show that we know of so far. And at first, when I was looking at this show, I kind of at first was going to get this really. There was two things I was going to expect from this show. I thought it was going to be this really air pilot, Top Gun, Red Tails, Metajets, if anyone still remembers that. Star Wars Rebels like concept to it, mostly focusing on jets and whatnot, and we'll only jump to mechas here and there for uh, foot soldiers or whatnot. But and then I thought the other alternative was going to be this more Star Wars esque thing going on, which is going to be fucking all out battles. People at sky, people on the ground, all that, and literally no joke. The robots that the vanguards use, the more or less the protagonist of the series, literally no joke, look like the Mantis robots from the Halo games, the one he be riding in that Halo Jones. Like literally no joke, the Vanguard robots literally no joke looked it like that, and the villains had these really just odd looking vehicles. Like one of them was literally a tank with two barrels, and the only thing you can really notice about more so the antagonistic side, the antagonist of this series, pretty much the main big thing about this, and which I actually found like really fucking ironic, is that the bad guys that we know of so far, first episode, are literally these red and black color coded characters, just like the Grim off Ruby. So you can tell where the overall imagination, how far it went when they invest into the series. Um, and pretty much Michael B. Jordan's character Julian Chase, which is actually kind of one of the parts that kind of really almost kind of put me out this series. I'm not gonna fucking lie to you, but while he was fighting off the red the futuristic Grim, because pretty much this is what it kind of looks like so far as it's pretty much Ruby, but if Ruby was more science fiction based, more has this more cyberpunk aesthetic to it, because that's pretty much what I thought about it when I pretty much was getting into it. Just like how I thought about Dragon Prince the Avatar, it's pretty much a more Western based version of Avatar, while Avatar is more Eastern influenced. and literally Julian Chase is shot down by the cyborg Grim, and he's presumed killed by the whole Vanguard and anyone who knew him. And this is the funny part about it. Okay, we see him get killed, and literally no fucking surprise. It's revealed that he's not dead. And this is where actually that my overall problem with this actually arises. Cause okay, hang on when I say this. Okay, Rooster Teeth literally hired a high paid, pretty much A actor, A or rising B class actor to voice in their project, and through all these promotions, they were sending out for Genlock. They kept pushing Julian Chase as the main character. They kept pushing it outwards, kept promoting the character, and at first they try to give you the thought that he dies, like he dies in a plane crash. Yet you kind of already have a feeling, or for me, looking at it from my perspective, like that wasn't going to be the fucking case because I don't think there was going to literally have a B or A class actor literally just voicing this web series just to get killed off about give or take 20 minutes in the series just to pretty much push him to the side for someone else. I just felt and yeah, spoilers to the second episode. He literally fucking is reduced to this armless husk in a water jar. This really Darth Vader style thing. I mean, okay, here's pretty much one. Here's let me verify this. Okay, what will be the point of having shock value in the first episode to the extent that they make you want to have the illusion that this character dies, like he kicks the bucket, he dies. If you're just gonna fucking literally just, I mean, this is where the plot ties in. If you're literally just gonna bring him back just to further the plot, hold on though. He's reduced. I'm supposed to get around to this so y'all can understand. I mean, it's literally on the tip of my tongue, and I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I know exactly what point I'm trying to get across when I'm saying this. What I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, if you're gonna kill the character, if you're gonna give the audience the illusion that this character dies, like he dies, and then pretty much bring him back in the series to pretty much explain why he's living. What would be the point? Well, okay, what would be the point of giving us the illusion that he died? Yeah, I got it now. What would be the point of giving us the illusion that he got killed if if you're just gonna bring him back in the series? I mean, I'm not giving any writing tips or anything, but wouldn't it make sense? And everyone know he's alive because what's left of him, like I said, is some lifeless husk in a water jar who literally talks to a vaporator, really Darth Vader style, who's able to literally transfer his self conscience and psyche into the cybernetic brain of a mecha robot that looks really similar to the arm slaves from Full Metal Panic. I mean, why don't you just do it the cyborg route? Like, he gets really fucking injured, and then they bring him back to the facility, and pretty much that's where the story kicks off. But you had to incite this really predictable and really bad shock value, this really obvious shock value of this character dying. If you're just gonna fucking bring him back as a pretty much a virtual a virtual ghost, a virtual AI, a virtual ghost of himself. It's just I'm like it just would have made more sense if it was Darth Vader style. Like he got fucked up in battle and they brought him back to the medical center, and that's where it kicks off. Not suggesting anything, but I think from my perspective, seeing it, it would have made more sense than just more or less giving off this really bad death shock value that even myself, or I can even vouch for anyone who saw it, kind of suspected that it was going to be bullshit and the character was going to still survive and be written to the series. And especially, I'm reinforcing my claim, obviously, if you're going to get this really top tier actor to play him, just to more or less kill him in the first 20 minutes of the series, just to, I'm like, just, if, I'm obviously, giving out the answer, and y'all already know what I'm getting at this. And as far as characters go for Genlock, I'm like, it's just like all of them, most of them are just like really just fucking stale and one dimensional in this. Like, there's no real personalities I can think of for most of these characters. I mean, yeah, I get it. Julian Chase, Julian, he's laid back, he's sly and whatnot, but, he still has the fucking attitude of a damn rock. And his girlfriend is literally two sides of the same coin, which she kind of goes through this whole phase where she's like, I thought you were dead for a long time, and you're just literally a fucking virtual ghost now. I mean, do you even still have it anymore? Like it gets to that, that really typical "you're not alive anymore. I saw you die" thing going on. I can't accept you for this. Well, I think that would make sense. You're just a limbless husk in a jar. And I've been saying that a lot, but y'all pretty much get what I'm getting at this. I mean, it just if it's just as soon as it's introduced that Julian Chase survived, as soon as they just pretty much shove all these really pretentious really pretentious pseudo anime tropes right at you at the last minute. Girl doesn't accept guy who thinks he died, but he's really alive cliche. The technically the chosen few cliches thrown in there. The the pretty much all snarky companions to the main character. The concept is a trope is thrown in there. Mhm. You got the grease monkey gearhead like character who's played by Miles Luna, who's thrown in there, who's pretty much one of the most annoying characters in the show so far. And pretty much all the companions also all have this really stereotypical concept going for all of them. Once this really I don't take shit from nobody Russian character. Once this really playful little girl who Lily doesn't seem to fit with any of them at all. And you got that Coco from Foster Zone for Imaginary Friends, or Snitzu from Chowder. You know them old ass cartoons from Cartoon Network. Like how they are. Like it's like, okay, everyone else speaks regular. Well, hold on, let me rephrase that. Everyone else speaks the same language, but you literally got this one character who like talks different, who speaks different, who's completely just who shies overall language shies away from everyone. Although despite you have a character who's has this really thick Russian accent who speaks fluid English, who speaks fluid English. Yeah, you got this one literally token Asian character who speaks straight Japanese. Like they have this really Coco esque. Who else that I was referring to? Uh, 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 Schnitzel from Chowder esque character. Like he speaks vastly different. He doesn't speak like everyone else, but everyone can pretty much make out what he's saying, or at least the Russian bitch can't, or they can, or they can't, because she literally had to use a translator to see what was going on, and then it's just. mm. And no, people, I am being as earnest and as honest as I am with this review and with this show in general. um, this show's just, I mean, Michael B. Jordan, he pretty much, I mean, I, I mean, Michael B. Jordan, he's an anime fanatic. He's well, not really me, but he was like my former self. He's like one of us, like my former self and most people. He was a big anime fanatic, and that's fine. That's cool, man. That's what's up. I guess if I still had an interest in anime as big as I did in the past, I'm not really big on it now. I get it, and he's really proud about this role. He was proud about being in anime. He's proud about it. Good for him. That's great. That's awesome. And actually, he kind of really does hold up this show. His or at least his performance holds up this show. Julian, I'm sorry, he's a blank slate character, but his performance does still make the character. It still holds up the show. Still holds up the tension of it for the most part. But it's just I don't know. It's just when you give it your all, but you're just really dealing with this really one-sided nickel of a story. It's just I don't know. It's just I mean, it's not bad. It's just it just hits so many easy targets. Like this is me, right? Okay, this is the target, and this is me. That's literally what Genlock is. Like it's too easy. It pretty much fires at all the easy plot lines. All they pretty much can only pretty much what's in Genlock can literally be found at really eye level. That's pretty much what Genlock is. Um, I mean, I think the only real actually exciting characters about this is the professor. At least he's actually kind of funny, even with his Samuel Hayden from Doom robot assistant. Kind of pretty much adds a lot to the character. Like no joke, he has this robo assistant that literally looks like Samuel Hayden from the Doom game, and he pretty much is just a servant droid, and that's it. But it still adds a lot to the character. He kind of reminds me of the green hair professor from Ruby. The one that talks fast a lot. That he kind of reminds me a lot like him, and the pretty much the guy who literally just got killed in the second episode, like Slipknot, just to only explain that how how the damn what's the name of those robots? Okay, let's just call them Tachcomas for short. No, let's just call them let's just no, not Tachcoma. Let's just call them arm slaves for short. The columns, yeah, that's what I'm or columns or it was yeah columns or something like that. Okay, the columns or the arm slaves, they pretty much they need like I said, it's really the chosen one esque story going on. They require Pacific hosts to be pilot for. Pacific hosts need to be acquired for the Genlock program. Yeah, that why it's called Genlock because that project is called Genlock. It's made to find perfect hosts who can transfer their very psyche into the droids so they can fight, so they can carry them off because their minds, the hosts that they need, they're no, they're the ones that are acceptable or compatible with the machines to fight in wars. So I guess fuck everyone else. Any ground soldier can fucking die. I guess these guys are the cream of the crop. I guess so. That pretty much tells a lot about the commitment in this or something. Um, and whatnot. And there was this one character. I'm pretty much already said it. Who more or less forcefully tried to transfer his psyche into one of the column droids, and I guess from the looks of it, he's a double agent for the antagonist because he was fighting with those purple bug-looking droid thingies. So I guess that's something you can assume, but they didn't really touch onto it. like literally just in one scene where all the candidates that were used to pilot the robots, like as soon as they were talking it out, like literally the soldiers from Vanguard kicked the door in to arrest them, and then I guess he spilled out the beans with his purple robots, and he pretty much fucked everyone up, especially the yellow bitch and whatnot. Like he was literally actually keeping my enthusiasm from the show to that point, and he forcibly tried to put his psyche into one of the column bots, and it of course didn't turn out right because it wasn't a compatible unit to the droid, and he fucking died in the chamber, and pretty much his whole death only pretty much served to indicate that the column droids need candidates for control, and he was not one of them. Um, it is pretty much about it about that point. It was just pretty much just only showed that. It's just like how Slipknot's death in Suicide Squad was to show how deadly those miniature explosive chips were in their necks. It was pretty much just only showed to just indicate that. So it was whatever. I mean, he was the only one actually keeping the suspense of the series, but I guess whatever. And and I know it may seem like I'm fucking flexing Michael B. Jordan because I really do like Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a pretty decent actor. He's pretty charismatic in his own right, and for the most part, I actually do think he can fucking act for real, for real. Michael B. Jordan, but it just you just heavily promoting this character just to literally just have him almost be seemingly irrelevant in the series, just or not irrelevant, just pretty much just be this husk, this armless, nearly half dead man in a jar who really has to get around with a virtual after image. It's just I don't know. It's a bit I don't know the word. It's a bit it doesn't. I guess it subverted my expectations. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. But I guess you just pretty much just push this character from the beginning just to literally pretty much just be this corpse who's barely hanging on to life in a blue jar. So it's just whatever. I'm gonna have to give this an adequate, man. And it should be glad he even got that because I would have given this like a fucking obsolete if it was for just those for mostly the really positive aspects of this series. If it was for those entirely that kept me intrigued, I would have gave it an obsolete. Honestly, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this shit. I mean, I guess we gotta keep going into it. I guess. I mean, it probably might get better. It was kind of like really fucking slow at one point, and honestly, I didn't know what the fuck was going on when it first began. I mean, it just literally opened up with this futuristic New York City just getting attacked by the cyborg Grim, and then the Vanguard step in, and pretty much I kind of just fucking rolled my ass to it a little bit, because I couldn't really catch what the fuck was going on for real, for real. Everything was fast paced, but it was also really slow. Had a really slow start and whatnot. I guess it's just there's a lot going on with this with Jim Lock in general. It's not bad. I don't even think it's bad. I mean, if I thought it was bad, I wouldn't be fucking making a review about it. If I thought it was bad, I probably wouldn't even be going farther than the first episode. But I just feel like already there's just a lot going on with it. It's a real piece of work, so to speak. Um, excuse me. Um, one thing I actually really did like about this was actually that kick-ass intro. The intro's like fucking awesome. Like it just kept me fucking just in this joint. Like, and I'm not even in the dubstep. It sound like that sound like some Tekken 7 shit. And the whole fucking soundtrack to that game is fucking heinous. But yet this song in general was just like really fucking catchy. Like it really actually kept me to the spirit of it, to the appeal of Jinlock for the most part. The song of it. I mean, the song was. I mean, lyrically and the song in general is like terrible. It should be terrible, and the lyrics are dumb, but it was still like a really fucking catchy ass song, and it really got me pumped up and whatnot. Like the lyrics is just like something else. Like it's just really fucking stupid. And I thought Nevermore was just kind of just a really whatever song, but the lyrics to that song makes Nevermore seem like fucking Flight of the Bumblebee. And in the intro, literally for a split second, how all their column droids look like, it pretty much can have this really plain white design going on with it, like the Unicorn Gundam before it, you know, goes through its red Kaioken stage where it's puffed out and all that. Unicorn Gundam. I only know that because I knew someone who had a game and it was in there, so I know that much. And I used to be big on anime. Now I'm not. Actually have a really extensive list, but I still don't like anime for the most part. I kind of think I just grew out of it, or maybe I can just only look at the old stuff or something. And literally, one of the cyborg Grim, one of their main column droids, literally looked at like one of the Avas from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Like it literally just looked like one of their fucking robots in a split scene from the cut from the intro. And going back to their robots, they pretty much look like the Unicorn Gundams, just what their own Pacific cladded colors. So it's whatever, I guess. I mean, I actually overall actually like the overall artistry and overall design of most of the machines, and most in generally this is just a really well drawn and somewhat animated series. I mean, at some points it's like really fucking choppy and slow, like Dragon Prince choppy, like on that level. But for the most part, the animation and illustration of this show is like really fucking good. It's still hella choppy, but it's still presentable. It's still acceptable. It's satisfactory. Um, and like towards the end of the intro, if anyone ever seen the first intro to Ruka 7, how it showed the Gecko State, or even in that really dumbass sequel that came after it, Ruka 7 AO, with the Pied Piper. When it pans upwards where it shows them looking at the screen and it shows the Nerosh in the back. It's pretty much what one part of the intros actually reminded me a lot of. It looked just like the Nerosh and the Gecko State members literally just panned up at the screen and they show more or less the main mecha that's going to be used. And even had the gun rest and everything. I'm like, okay, listen, you kind of already have a really mediocre score from me, but you already got all these gimmicks in the wet work. I mean, at least Symbionic Titan, like it knew it was gimmicky, but it was more so making fun of those ideas, and only in certain times they actually took itself seriously. Like Symbionic Titan itself is a parody. It's a cartoon. It's a romantic comedy if you actually think about it. It's those elements more so stick out more than actually the plot itself, and that's or at least sometimes Symbiote Titan can get serious. At least Symbiote Titan actually has a sense of decency. That the very intro in itself looks really kind of gimmicky. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie. Um, shit, that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. I mean, where they left off, it pretty much just only really just explaining the lore of it, and my little first episode mark, more so to speak. If it wasn't for the more or less the concepts that I said I liked alone in the first episode, if it wasn't for those concepts that sticked out the most for me in that episode, I probably would never even bother looking at the second episode. But but Genlock actually did hit the mark right. The first episode policy actually did get that right for me, and it pretty much only one real reason why it got me to look at the next episode. So I guess on that part it did a good job. Only because it actually did succeed in all the points for me when it comes to one episode policies go. So yeah, I'm gonna give it that for the most part. But for the most part, it's just really, really adequate. I mean, I guess we just gotta tune in and see what's gonna happen. I guess, but pretty much my overall opinion about it. Yeah, I already know the drill, man. Give a like if you like this video. Subscribe if you like reviews like these. Give notifications every time you want to know I make some new content. Check out my other social media platforms that I be on sometimes, and stick around, man, and whatnot. And like always, man, the Storm is watching y'all.